This is the very last session on the conceptual part of this conference regarding nuclear war systems and criminalization of them. This is the last part of the day 5. This is the part about the Sun Model of the Balts. The Balts are my people. We Latvians and Lithuanians, 2 countries, Latvia and Lithuania, we are the Balts. And together our 2 geographical countries form the heart. It's heart-shaped. And it is the heart of the world, as we used to say. And on the 22nd of September, 12,012, with 10,000 added for our indigenous times, I was in United Nations, and I promised to the people in the hall of United Nations that I would do everything in my powers to create a model of a system that is loving. I promised to them to be the heart of the world, because I couldn't find it in United Nations. Everybody I asked said that there is no structure that would be the heart of the world equivalent, where I could go and ask United Nations, do you love my nation, us, Latvians, the Balts? Do you? Have you provided structures and systems safe for my people to thrive? And there was nobody to ask in the whole of United Nations. So I came home knowing that, and I've been working ever since. That is soon 3 years more. And now I will show to you the Sun Model of the Balts. That is a modeling conceptual base for development, systemic development of any structures, processes, organizations, units, for loving and responsible systems. So you can see here, this is the presentation for the United Nations. I haven't had time to adjust it for this one. For today, because you know, we still don't have any resources. We're doing this conference on 0 budget. But here you can see the whole point is about competence, and this model is a hurricane of competences. It's like a sun full of shining rays, and each ray is a hurricane that can be developed geographically for that globe of unit into a competence map. You can find this on NationalState.INFO webpage. In Latvian it is on latviasrepublika.info. And as a systemic scientist, I developed this from the previous concept of mine, gendereconomy.com, you can find it on, and as well as my name, Ditta.nu. It's the same webpage, opens there. It's because this is a concept of feminism and masculism as a duality, of patriarchy and matriarchy analyzed, and how they only together describe the reality well. if only one, as now feminism or patriarchy is described, then that is violence, that is suppression, and that is the cause of the enslavement of all humanity. But I will not go into this subject today. Today the subject is furthermore on the whole competence sun, not just one ray of gender economy. So in this NationalState.INFO, you can find this national recovery concept for any nation. It is described to stop the process of destruction of the nations, to find the people who can unite open minds and warm hearts. And this is a universal and non-political program network to balance the resources of every nation to well-being and independence. Because politics and economics were just created to create this system. The very concept of politics and economics is very new as words, as definitions. They have nothing in comparison with indigenous peoples' definitions. Word economics and politics was created to steal property from the indigenous and to replace the divine systems with the grid of Inquisition systems, to colonize and enslave, to reach the New World Order. And to stop that, we are uniting experts, systemic thinkers, people who can think systemically. Because the sciences are working with a very advanced level of sciences, and it is a full matrix of them. So just take one string of matrix and switch it into the whole. Polish one string like one very little frame of the diamond. And you can be some kind of law specialist or property specialist, ecologist, farmer, programmer. Any person can contribute if you start thinking systemically and add to us information. But of course, most importantly, people in high positions, who can reorganize big units. Please take your time and take the course, study this modeling instrument. Because when you start to use these 14 parameters in your everyday work, you will realize that is really fun, and you get resources and you get results, and it is like expanding suddenly. All your dreams come true because it's all there. This is divine world. This is God's creation, and we just have to switch into the God's plans. And how do we do it? By structurization of the basic parameters of our common reality. And where can we use this sun model? It can be used for personal concentration on the relevant tasks and parameters of virtue, because too often we spend our time in vain, not focused on virtue parameters. We can use it to unify with each other in common goals and methods. If we all start using these 14 parameters, then by the structure of united parameters, we will be doing the same, starting to getting a common plan. And when we have a common plan, then we are united, even though we don't know each other. But we know these parameters and we work to get them into our real reality. So this is a virtue power mechanism. That's what it is, model of the Balts. It's a virtue power mechanism. When we start creating these parameters in our everyday life, the virtue reality becomes real. And we can use it to create CV. It's a different type of CV. It's definitely not a business CV, because you won't be able to write there sort of how you did management, sort of to get all the stock markets to crash countries and sort of, wow, I'm a big career I've made there and here, and I've made profits for big fascists. No, you won't be able to do that. But you will be able to show the virtue of your spirit, your strength, your soul and your body. And we will bring you forward all these parameters through Sun Model of the Balts. And then you can model and manage any systems, even the system of a state, or a system how your family will function. You won't be lost in space anymore, doing all sorts of bullshit. You'll be doing virtue things and valuable things that will give you results. And any minute of your time will be spent valuably. There will be enormous value when you start to use this compass. So we can model state systems with it and create fabulous states. And self-reconstruction compass, it is really, that's what it is about. We are reconstructing ourselves. So the very important thing about this model is that it is a non-violent model. I will not impose it on anybody. Only those who will come to look for it will find it. And people who will start using it themselves will find what it does to them when they will become more powerful, and they will. Because this is the compass. It's like we have been lost in the forest doing, grumbling around, and suddenly we have directions. And we are wired to all sides, to all 14 sides of the sun. So it's stabler than anything else. So any system should reconstruct itself. So this is the process where I reconstruct myself, and only by changing myself I can change the world. I have seen that happen all the time. And it gets more and more beautiful, the world around you, when you do the work on yourself. Because we mirror, our being is being mirrored around us. And the better we are, the better the world gets. So the better your cooperative becomes, the better environment within and around cooperative becomes. The better you work within the city council, the better council gets. And if you have this compass, you will achieve results. And you can use it also to unify different conflicting groups by common goal parameters. Because these parameters that I will show you, they are just usual common sense parameters. Everybody of you could have put this method together. But somehow we have education that diverses our attention away from these very important methods. And the reality is shattered by all these conflicting groups when they all need same things, but they don't know how to unify themselves in these parameters. And there they are. And then you even can use this Sun model of the Balts quite practically to achieve such instruments as to create real money that is not a fraud like we're having it now on the planet, and sufficient funding that you yourself manage in your community and you control it because you know best which people in your community are reliable and responsible and loving individuals, so you can make it possible. So the funding there is available through real structures of common good, financial and property systems. And you can redistribute your resources through this model too. So let's have a look what parameters they are. When I was wondering why people can't unite when things are so simple, then I just thought, how to create this model? So I just took a box of matches and a little potato and started to think how to put these parameters and started pulling them in, and what is the geometrical shape of it, and I found it was 14. That was the number to get the thinnest shape of the sun quite equally redistributed matches. So it is like sort of one axe horizontal, one vertical, and the other cross horizontal. That gives you 6 rays, and these 6 rays create 8 pieces, in the middle of which you put another match in. That's why it is 6 plus 8, it is 14. So that is a very stable system, and stability is something we want to achieve. Reliability and stability. So this is a scientific, non-political, non-religious, universal model, a tool for peaceful self-improvement of any unit. It consists of basic 14 rays of the National Competence Solar Structure for national welfare. But you could use it on individual solar structure as well. Objective to create a system design where the nation thrives. And methods start national institutions to protect all of 14 functions. Why not? We need those structures. So activization in the natural universal solar system where the strongest heat and light source supports all life. By the 14 rays of Sun model of the Balts. So this is a protection mechanism. So we have to get active exactly on taking some task, and then and the next stage is uniting these tasks into one whole. So the first ray is the ray of dichotomy, slavery and slave and freeholder, yeah? To leave behind the dominance of the pyramidal times right now and become freeholders, the masters of our own goods and means on our Mother Earth. This is about person or family or tribe or even nation using systems that lead to ecological welfare, and secret societies and governments liberate themselves from their dark duties. Because the first ray is the ray on the subject of work. The first ray is the subject of work, how it is, how the goods of our work are used systemically, how we are slaves or freeholders. That is the duality here. Not to be slaves, not to be slave drivers, and not to be slave owners. Because right now we have a system where people are desperately trying to be either slave drivers or slave owners, but not slaves. And English have even, I heard a song that English was singing, English will not be slaves. And I was just shocked, really. So if they will not be slaves, then somebody will be slave for them, of course. And that's what we have to stop. We have to be self-sustainable units. With, of course, there might be various methods how to obtain it so nobody feels unjustly put here. But the good news is that nobody will have to work more than 4 hours a week. Not bad, huh? This is a bestseller by Timothy Ferris. We have been fooled so terribly, in all these times of effectiveness, of fabulous communications. We work more than ever before. No more. Okay, second ray, what do we have there? National Constitution and its rules and laws passed. Of course, this is about laws. The second ray is about laws. Don't look at the perfection of these formulations. They are not perfect at all. But anyway, it is about laws and creating right laws, reforms. Probably nationalization of land and property in various methods. But this is just some improvising suggestion, but it might be other better ones. And nobody will be left without sort of reasonable means. That's the most important thing in all of this methodology. Nobody will get hurt. All people will have the divine basic needs covered, because the people are children of God. And God has provided for us this Mother Earth to share it, and to feed on it, and to breed on it. And we have enough for everybody. So, suggestion here is effectivization of the state, and actually I would suggest protecting the state, because right now we are in times when states are being destroyed. The globalization of the New World Order process is destroying national states. And by my understanding, national states are just fabulous instruments, and I am the main protector of the state. And I'm working hard to protect the state. But improvement of it is also crucial. So, effectivization of the state, nation's heart tribunal, where unconstitutional developments are exposed in a transparent information panel available to all in the nation. The system here is to create honor court where criminal systems are criminalized, and people within those systems are given still a reasonable means of life, but they are not allowed anymore to have impact on masses. And that is very important, that only people who are loving and loyal to local people and competent can be in the realms of power, and they have to sign contracts with the local people, and the local people have to have mechanisms of control and transparency. So the third ray brings us to state care guaranteeing the resident welfare through the scientifically based computer program budget that provides basic security for everyone, social security, national population identification, basic welfare income, so we can really provide for everybody, so we can protect everybody, so everybody starts to thrive and get their resident or citizen salary, we'll see. But to stop the slavery, this is the method. Provide for basic needs, and people will be following their conscience instead of following the salary and the fake dollar. Because right now, people are just following dollar, like slaves do. And this state care, social security will provide to bring us to the next level. So the parameter number 4 is about the system of finance and monetary system that we're using. Here a suggestion would be national commercial bank restoration. Can you imagine, we don't have even one national bank anymore in Latvia. This has been just outrageous. So the independent status of the national currency has to be created or updated, printed on the territory of the nation and controlled by the locals. And the misery the corporate banks have brought upon us here in Latvia is just outrageous. We just can't, it's just unbelievable. There are no national banks anymore in Latvia. There are mainly Swedish, Danish, Finnish, American, and the last national bank, Citadel, was just given away to some offshore American dodgy characters for a slice of sandwich, really. It didn't even cover the costs of the main building. So we are being robbed in the plain sight, and people don't have systemic methods how to stop this. But in this way, there has to be very powerful methodology, how we create real money, and how the central banks are being nationalized. Sure, we, the people, control central banks and the amounts of resources that are emitted through them. That's what state is about. The very fact that we can't do that now just suggests that we don't even have a state. We have the vague remains of some state-like structure that we have to create into real state. So, Bretton Woods was quite interesting process, but Bretton Woods II international agreement would be necessary just to rewind it into real currencies, system controlled by local nations. And several security levels, as if national currency system fails, local communities are to create regional money, and is the instrument to support nations' exchange of goods and services to the level of abundance and welfare that we do deserve. So that is the fourth ray. The fifth ray is environmental and military. I have put them together, environment and military, because the military can just totally destroy environment. And they have to sort of be competent within each other. And we in Latvia are actually a bit lucky here. Or maybe the model has done its tricks, because it has been hanging in the internet for years. So we do have a president elected a couple of days ago who is environmentalist and who was a military army minister recently. So he's quite competent on this ray, so I'll try to trust him for a while, but surely we have to upgrade him on the modeling parameters. So we'll try our best. So environmental and military protection of the nation, that is ray number 5. Realization of existential threats and communication to the nation of these threats, and finding the secure structures to protect from the threats. So this is where we need to have stable negotiations and contracts with the military and global power structures. Protect all in the structure of 14 rays and the system itself, because this ray is the protection ray against environmental and military horrors. So this is actually the ray that is about nuclear war. Ray number 5. But nuclear war systems are all of the 14 systems if they are not balanced and empowered to the loving and caring and protecting tune. So number 6 is exactly about that. It's about peace and harmony and balance. Balance between the internal and external. And harmony is within ourselves and with the others, in self-sufficiency and unity, as well as in the understanding and acceptance, where fear, manipulation and lies are left within the filter, where there is the tune of peace and love. This is the ray that balances the parameters and various matrix components of the whole 14 rays. It's probably the most complicated deed. So the seventh is national health and existence. Ray number 7 is about health, life itself. It's about fertility, protection of the most sacred and very fragile structures of biological well-being. And here we need really national programs to get science to do brilliant research and implement it so that it is available to people. So they, in these times, we could be so healthy and so well, and we will achieve this. And for us Latvians, this also is a question about healthy tribe, healthy nation. And in our case, we have had absolutely tragic past 20 years when our nation has just been genocided by a systemic inquisition, and we need urgently re-emigration programs and return to the land programs. Agricultural reforms and reforms of all parameter structures in this model. So this is the ray where we will heal also our nation. This is the parameters are here for rehabilitation of the nation. Because people who are left still alive, but very shattered with various health problems and dependencies and stress syndromes of all sorts of kinds. And we will provide rehabilitation for every person if we use the modeling systemically in every unit. If the goals are set and the compass is working, it can be done, of course. So, fertility. What about fertility? It's in this ray. There are reports, scientific reports about steady, vast drop in fertility of people. There was one report from Israel where it said that sperm count of Israeli men had dropped 30% down in just 10 years. Gosh. So here in this ray are fertility questions and family culture systems to reach demographical welfare. And this is the core of solution to make young men and women to desire to create strong families. Systemical solutions here will provide that. Ray number 8, National Ethnical Culture League, National Codex and its national network. We are very lucky in Latvia that our old thousands of years old culture has been quite well preserved here, and we have not been mixed with all sorts of other cultures as badly as people in other regions. So we have still preserved a lot of divine, indigenous, heart-conscious and loving culture. And also not only culture but also ethnogenetical material. And national codex and protection network for this is very important, because we will protect every member of our ethnogenetic network. Enough is enough. Enough of this globalist demagogic about that everything is good and everybody is free and people don't matter if they are, what language they talk and what race they are all sort of equal and they can mix and have babies and whatnot. There is research that mixed races have infertile kids, and it has been hidden from us. This is a depopulation program. This is genocide towards our people. Never before Latvians have been genocided so badly, systemically, like now. Only can be compared with Christian crusade times. So we will protect our ethnogenetical structures. Each unit will be protected. So this is not about being racist. This is about being protective, because everybody gets protected when every ethnic group protects their members. Right now, nobody is protected. They are being just extinguished. And we will have national programs for the return to the homeland. Oh, sorry, this was not that. So this is about conscious identity and loyalty. National culture at the center of the ethnical culture. Flower for all different ethnical resident groups of the nation. So wherever so for example in Latvia, we the Latvians are the aborigines here, and of course we are the housekeepers here. Our rules and indigenous, honorable, divine rules will be primary here, as the rules of other indigenous groups will be primary in their sacred territories. That is how we will re-establish the divine order. And everybody is indigenous somewhere. So that is how everybody gets empowered and everybody will get resources. And those who don't know what origin they have, they can choose. But they have to be really loyal to some group and they have to sign contracts. Structure of various types of nations, ethnical, genetical, geographical, professional. These structures should be encouraged, but lovingly. Everybody should take care of their own kind and type. Right now, nobody is taking care of anybody. We can't accept that. Ray number 9 nations, land and property. This is about property and land, this ray. This is where we get to know what we have as resources, even industrial and manufacturing sector. So this is where we get the inventory of these resources so that we can redistribute the goodies so that everybody in the nation feels that they are the owners and the managers and science policy deciders. These methods are we have the right to put these systems in place. Even by current constitution, it is said in point number 2 in Latvia that the power in Latvia belongs to the people. But this point has not been systemically put into place into the administration of the state. So it's just to create current law, put it lawfully into place, would make a difference. So national basic self-providing internal market and labour market, return to life in nature, decentralization. Not forgetting centralization either. It doesn't mean that we have to deny the positive effects of centralization. Of course we will remain those. We're not going back to the Stone Age at all. We can have the best from our predecessors and the current modern times, and we will reach such thriving systems that we can't even imagine yet. Ray number 10, energy. Environmentally friendly modern energy and responsible use of the natural resources, which ensures their protection even for future generations. Ray number 10, that's the one where we will get free energy at last. I bet we will. I just can't wait until I'll get into the archives of Vatican to see what's there. I just can't wait to put my fingers on those shelves of books and whatnot, and read Tesla's findings and whatnot. Yeah, this will be just great. When we lift the modern cars into the air and drive away through space. Yeah, I bet it will happen in my lifetime if we use this methodology. So, 11, lifelong education program. That's what ray number 11 is. And lifelong education program is not exhausting. It's delightful. And it's definitely not the kind of education that is now, when they rip our kids and throw them into schools and we are away from them and they are away from us. And we can hardly see them at all. And when we meet, then we are tired and we sort of, oh no, this is all Inquisition now. So education system is, of course, the main and one of the first to start with, because through education we will also provide the information about how to use this model. And we will contribute to spiritual development of people and give them peace and time to find the solutions themselves too. This is a not imposing education program. This is giving time to people, freedom and resources, so that people themselves can find the ways. And through this education, real history of the world has to appear. Now we are in the web of lies. And we have to start using local nations' calendars and live by the rhythm of the nation. Right now we are imposed the Gregorian Christian calendar, but we have found a way to our roots, and it's so great to change the rhythm. It's like improving eternally your life. It's the rhythm. So, ray number 12, People's Media Net and Open Source Systems program, where each resident may leave recommendations for improving the system of the national state. Fills the 14 rays with wisdom of the nation. In the basic this is the basic instrument through which the representatives of the nation control the state. So this is about media and open source system. We have sort of some kind of open source systems now on the web, like Facebooks and similar. But you can't polish the subjects really sort of perfectly, but we are sort of getting there. We will find the best solutions and we will provide them. People will be able to get the best solutions through these media sources. But also, the information now is run by corporations and media, which are just lying. So, for example, in Latvia, we have most of the media is controlled by Soros Group. George Soros, Daddy, go home. We want to do it ourselves. We can do better. And we will keep the planet safe. And there will be no nuclear war system trouble. Okay? Sleep tight. And have a nice vacation. But don't trouble us. So we will create real media net, reliable and true. Number 13. This is where this control of the state apparatus is even brought further. This is really professional checkup. So nobody can hurt our state, our national state. This is a control system. Systemized structure that preserves national interests, principles, objectives, examines the mass media, controls government and parliamentary work from errors of unhonorable and corrupt impact, and it will effectively provide national sovereign power to belong to the people of the nation. We will design it, and we will keep it going. And ray number 14 is, last but not the least, the energy with which everything started. Each life of ours started with this energy. It is love. Love of the country and the people. And the concept of love has been commercialized by the church. And that has to stop. Because divine love of our Creator is available to everybody without any church needed. It is the basic law, common law of existence, and we can always reach out for the higher force to be in tune with us. And the trouble is that church does not provide the methodology of how to tune ourselves into the tune of higher forces. And that has to be provided to every unit. The method how to tune into this divine Creator's messages. The straight line. You don't need any priests for that. You don't need any the variety of all the prophets that has been described in various religions. The Creator is always with us if we reach out in our spirit. And we are always loved, and we are love, and we love. And when we get this message, and when we know that, then everything turns into love. And the method of this ray empowers all the other rays, so the whole concept all becomes a love concept, because all the 14 rays are empowered by each other. And the tune goes like this. I love myself, you, the world, as the grass grows steadily. And your and the world's love is filling me. And this ray provides also that only the nation-loving have access to decision levels in the territory of the nation, in the decisions that may impact the nation internationally as well, so that all the people in the territory of the nation are loved. That is our divine right to be loved. And we will not submit to less. We will put in systems that are loving, caring and protecting. And this ray will guarantee that. So these are the 14 rays of parameters, and when we create this sun model of the Balts into modeling mechanism for all these types of use that I mentioned earlier, and when we use these parameters in our everyday life, in each process of our work and leisure and pleasure, then we are powerful and we empower everybody around us. So spread, please, be so kind and loving and spread this model to people, and you will see the difference. Because just by using this compass in everyday life, we can change and improve everything. And here is the picture of the Balts at the heart of the world. Let our love and wisdom from the Baltic Sanskrit old culture reach every nation on our earth and free the nations from the chains to start and maintain an ecological system of abundance, system of thriving reality, because we are worth it. Thank you so much for being with me. And tomorrow we will be doing the session on how different cultures reach the Creator, how they get in tune with the higher forces, the methodology of it. And we will also have a ritual, both indigenous Latvian and some global tunes as well. Because we love each other and all other groups around us. We are love. Thank you very much.